Hey guys, it's your boy MKS here. Another video I probably shouldn't make, but it's 1:45 here in the morning, so I probably should be asleep. But anyway, this is another one of my controversial political views. If anyone's seen my channel before, you'll probably notice I'm not a big fan of militarism or joining the military or even paying taxes towards things like the military, weapons trade, wars, or things like that. A lot of people say military fights for your freedom, so I suppose if they fight for my freedom, then surely that means that they should allow me to have the freedom to express my honest opinions about the military. And of course, people can agree or disagree. So I think it would be a dilemma for them to say that they would attack me or either physically or verbally or in any other way, rather than say we disagree with you or whatever, because surely, again, supporting someone's freedom of speech or fighting for their freedom surely means that you would have to accept that is the opinion that we have. And if you're forced to pay tax for it, then I don't see how it can fight for your freedom that much, as much as it claims. So I have some very controversial views I know about the military, because, like I say, anyone who supports, if people don't like having the house robbed, then in my opinion they shouldn't join the military, because the military will do that to people in Iraq or places like that, in my opinion. Again, these are my opinions, so not everyone has to agree. So probably I don't have alcohol to excuse my my random videos or making these sorts of controversial views, but maybe I should keep my opinions more secret. But there's a big debate as well here in the UK, I'm sure in America and around the world, about freedom of speech. And I think it's almost like some things like the military or things like that are sort of sacrosanct, sort of seen as blasphemy to criticize them. But I really do believe that people of colour shouldn't join the military, and I don't believe we should. I believe we should lobby so that our taxes do not go to the military. Another thing, actually, I'm going to say now, while I remember it and have the opportunity, is that I also believe that. Oh man, I lost my chain of thought again. I also believe that. I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry. Oh yeah, sorry. People like Africa and Asia and other nations, countries of colour, countries of people of colour, our leaders from those nations, like an African and Asian nation, should do their best to make their nations proud, and bring their people together, and yeah, I think we should make our nations proud. Our nations, I'll say, as people of colour coming together, so that people are not risking their life to go to Europe or places like that. So I think we should make countries that we're proud of, nations that we're proud of in Africa and Asia, and communities like that. And maybe on another day I should go either when I wake up or another day. I should go into this in more detail. But a lot of people say, about people of colour if they don't like the UK or somewhere like that, they should leave. But I mean, there is a debate I've heard. I know I'm talking a lot about Native Americans, but there is a debate I've heard where people say that the original people in the Americas were actually from Scandinavia or something like that, I think. So I'm not 100% sure about that. Obviously, I grew up learning and believing that the first ever people in the Americas were Native or Indigenous Americans. So I'm not sure 100% what evidence there is, but if that is the case, the latter, where the first ever people in the Americas were what we class as Native Americans, then I think the argument could be even stronger that if people say that, like that people of colour should leave the UK or America or whatever, then I think the argument must be that, and certainly with Australasia, where the original people were almost certainly black, where the argument that people of colour should return to our own homeland, surely it would apply to, surely if it's going to be equal, would have to be white people in Australasia would surely have to leave, because, or in Africa or Asia or a place like that, and possibly even in the Americas, because it does seem a bit unfair and hypocritical to say one group. I hope this is not going to be taken out of context, and I know it's a controversial thing to say, but I think if you're going to kick one group out of the place or say that they must, then surely it should work for other groups as well. So, sorry, I should finish that sentence. That if you say they must respect the indigenous people, which I think people should respect people, whatever their background, unless they're treated bad by those people, specifically. But a lot of people say if you don't like it, leave. Then I think that surely that should mean that anyone who doesn't like Aborigines or Maoris, possibly even Native Americans, if they really were the first people there, or Africans or Asians, should surely leave and not be in those countries. And that includes perhaps in military taking over those countries, those nations. But I mean, again, if our leaders in Africa and Asia and places like that treat our own people better as people of colour and support each other and we're more united, then I think that less people would want to come to Europe as well. So I think we should treat our people better, but it would also give less excuses for. I keep forgetting my chain of thought, but that's what I was meant to say actually. It would give less excuses for people to take over Iraq, because if Saddam had treated his own people better and Gaddafi had treated his own people better, then European nations wouldn't be able to say, "Oh, we're coming to give you human rights or free you from your your oppression by your leaders," because hopefully that oppression won't exist. So I hope that the leaders of Nigeria or Cameroon or other parts of Africa and India and China and places like that think, yeah, we better be united and treat our own people better, because if we don't, then people can come and invade us and talk about human rights or things like that. So I say I love people of colour to be more united. So I know I'm mainly focusing on Indigenous and Native Americans. I've probably gone a bit off topic, but I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I'd love to know what you think. But as the title of this video suggests, I think it's quite hypocritical to be anti-immigrant, but at the same time support military, because the military takes over people's nation. I think anyone who doesn't want their house invaded or taken over, or doesn't want people to come and take their things or take their land, should not join the military. And I even think people of colour should lobby so that our tax money doesn't go towards the military or the weapons trade or the wars, but goes towards supporting our own people of colour, and people who are oppressed, and people who are victims of white supremacy or potential victims of white supremacy. And also, but also I do think we should help people, whatever their background, if they're homeless, disabled, disadvantaged. I think we should put money into healthcare and education. So if people, I do believe people of colour, and many of them might say Black or Asian or other groups, mixed race people like myself or whatnot, might well say, for instance, in Britain, a prime example would be I live in the UK and I benefited from the healthcare and education and that sort of thing. So I do want to contribute to my host nation, if you like. But I think if people of colour do pay taxes towards, including, I think we should give at least half of our tax money. We should lobby for at least half of our tax money to go back to our ancestral homelands. And I do believe that we should also, the money we do pay into our host nation, like the UK or whatever, or other parts of Europe or whatever, I believe we should specifically say we want that to go towards healthcare, education. But again, my view, which I said in my last video about, in the intro of my last video about taxes going towards, about people having choices about where the tax money goes, I think that would solve the problem. But I do believe, therefore, we should, if we're going to pay taxes towards our host nation again, I think it should be towards healthcare and education, but not towards wars, the weapons trade, the military industrial complex, royal families, or anything that is imperialistic or historically imperialistic. As ever, please feel free to disagree with my controversial ramblings, late night ramblings, and I hope no one takes it out of context or anything like that. But I'd love to hear opinions, even if they're alternative opinions or anything that you can think of, as ever. So I bid you peace and love.